Hey, this is Frank from Golf Tracks, and today just a short video to try to help document and clarify what we're seeing going on relative to unauthorized sessions from Google through Chrome, which we have a strong belief, high probability of fact that these rogue sessions that Lulu tells us about when they try to connect to my laptop from Google Chrome, which isn't running with V6 IPs that we know nothing about, while Google Chrome is not running. So this little video is going to show you that in the current, this is a MacBook Pro, and the activity monitor shows the applications that are running. So we have the Chromecast, and we have a few others. We have Little Snitch, which is another network monitoring tool that catches rogue sessions, rogue processes trying to run on your computer. We have MacKeeper. We have Firefox, which is an alternative to MacKeeper agent, but we have no Google Chrome is running. There's no such Google Chrome. And that's been the case for a long time, because after we discovered that Google sessions were doing this, we stopped. We told all our editors, do not use it anymore. Little Snitch over here also shows us which applications actually have sessions active on the network. So MacKeeper, of course, it is checking, for anti-theft, for virus protection, lots of things. Camtasia is the video recording software I'm using. Firefox is the browser I'm running, and Calendar Agent, okay? But I want to show you up here, because this is one of the things that's really troubling for us, because despite us not running Chrome on this laptop for days, look at what is being reported as processes being requested by Google Chrome. In the applications, Google Chrome app, frameworks, Chrome frameworks, Google Chrome helper app, connection stats. It says what ports they're accessing by. It's not currently connected, but it started again about 20 hours, 15 minutes ago, and it lasted for about 6 minutes. During that time, 16 successful connects. 16. Each one of those connects gives them the ability to run a query against our server if I'm logged in and change data. Each one of them. And so you think to yourself, well, how could they do that? Well, there's one very important thing that many of you don't, and that is that Google updates its software and all of the things it touches on your computer, essentially what they call a keystone agent. And it allows Google to go in and run updates whenever the hell they want against your machine without your knowledge, without your permission, without your consent. So when you see this, it should at least give you pause to say, I don't think this is the way this should be running. And if you're thinking that way, so some of you have said, hey, Frank, I never heard anything about Keystone Agent. And what is that? What is that? And what does it do? So, if you just do a quick Google search, you can certainly see the same thing I do, which is 5,560,000 results about Google's Keystone Agent. Well, what is it? Well, it is Google's automatic update software that gets installed behind the scenes without your knowledge, without your permission, without your authorization, all of that. It's their secret update. Yeah, you remember the secret sauce that they used to talk about? Well, Google's secret sauce is secret update software that installs things that do lots of things that they're every bit as bad as Facebook. They're doing whatever the hell they want behind your back with no authorization, with no monitoring, and most importantly, no accountability. They're not reporting to anyone what they're doing when these Chrome launch sessions kick off without authorization, not to anyone. So let's just look at what the user community who knows about it has to say. I just found a particular interesting little discussion thread here. And the absolute first response here from Google is, hey, Google Keystone Tech Lead here. Yeah, we're aware of this issue. We've stopped the release. We're building a replacement that fixes the problem. In the meantime, to fix affected machines, yeah, well, you can do this to try to make our automatic software updates stop. You can see that, you can read it just like me, okay? But here's the thing, folks. This is not the first time, and this is honestly, the end of the day, this next question is 100% the correct question for the federal government, the federal courts to be asking this despicable company. Why don't you make Google Chrome update like every other sane, well-behaved app? Yeah, those words mean something, Google. It's because they do it behind your back. They don't want you to know what they're adding and what they're spying on and what they're running without your consent. In my case, what they're doing to my site, every time they run these updates that destroy data on my site, delete it and change it, it's like this. This is the best analogy that I can give to everyone out here who can imagine this for their own car. Let's say you just took the car to the hand wash car wash, and you got the special package, really cleaned it up, polished it up, shined it up, everything perfect. And you paid some money for that, right? Every course that we add to our database for the scorecard, for the flyovers, for the mapping, yeah, you think that's free? That's about equivalent to what you're going to pay to take your car every time for 40,000 courses. So that's the investment we have. So every time Google Road processes go in and change what we put, which you all know they've done thousands of times. Last year in 2019, they did it for every single course in our database. 20,000 documented Google search results to destroy those pages. Documented. So imagine you're looking at your shiny car, it's been hand polished and you're ready to get in, and some black unidentified vehicle drives by. You can't see inside the windows, nothing, no license plate on it, and pours a 5-gallon bucket of pig blood all over the top of your car and through the windows and in the trunk. And yeah, combine some chicken shit in with it. Well, why? How is it the same? Well, just think about it. The car wash place did their job, and they did it beautifully. You saw it with your own eyes. It's perfect, ready to drive, ready to go enjoy. Yet, an unidentified car just drove by, poured that pig blood, poured that chicken shit all over it, outside and in. So what do you have to do? Well, you have to pay to get it done again. Okay, so that's number one. So they've done that to me 20, 30,000 times in the last 12 months. So then you say, okay, well, that's not very nice. And I'd be pretty upset. Well, what would be the first thing you'd ask? Hey, did you get the plate of the vehicle that poured that pig blood and chicken shit all over your car? No, well, because of government regulations, they're not required to have any license plate to identify who they are. Well, when Google can launch rogue sessions without any accountability, without any IP address other than a V6 IP that changes every 24 hours, that's essentially what they have been given. They cannot have this power for one more day. It must be stopped immediately. So the question came up, well, why are you using the description of pig blood and chicken shit? That's kind of gross and disgusting, right? Well, look, imagine your 90-degree day where you got the car washed, it's beautiful. If that sort of substance gets poured on the vehicle, it can do damage to your paint job, right? So that's number one, because it dries quickly and it leaves a stain. It eats away at the paint. Okay, so that's number one. But number two, I said they poured it through the windows and the trunk. And how is that relevant? Well, I want you to think about something. When a site gets its data decimated, gets desecrated, it gets vandalized, such that when visitors visit the site and say, it's like you go visit the Washington Monument or the Lincoln Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and you're looking at it and you're like, there's red spray paint all over it. What happened? This is our national treasure. Okay, so the same thing with a website. When you go and you discover that what you read about, what you saw pictures of, has been desecrated. What does it make you want to do? Well, it makes you want to turn around and leave and not come back, right? You're dismayed. You're disgusted by the perverted, sadistic creatures that would do that to a national treasure, a national monument. I'm not suggesting golf tracks is a national treasure, a national monument, but to me, to the creator, to the collector of all of these courses, it's something very important. And it's been desecrated every single time they pour that 5-gallon bucket of chicken shit and pig blood onto another course. And not only does it have to be cleaned up on the inside and the out, once it's even fixed, you can't see it anymore, but guess what? Every time it gets hot, you smell it again, don't you? Yeah, it's really hard without taking out the carpets to get the smell out. Well, what's the analogy there? Well, that's very important. It's very important that we paint the picture of how that's important. And it's this. After you went to the monuments, you got the distaste in your mouth from seeing that they've been desecrated. You may, like me, get motivation inspired to fix it. But there's another thing that happens to most people, and that is they don't go back. They don't want to go back and see that because it's depressing, it's discouraging. It leaves a feeling of uneasiness and of disgust and disdain to have seen it. So they don't go back. Well, the same thing happens with a website. When you go to a site and you see that the data has clearly been deleted, destroyed, sabotaged, changed, so it's just nonsensical, you get the same feeling. It's like, well, what's going on with the site? I'm not going to go back there. So that's why there is corporate sabotage. That's why it's against the law. That's why every single incident of it is punishable by fine and criminal felony. And I pray to God the executives at Google are held accountable for the 30,000 desecrations they did to my site this last year. So I used my phone to video these sessions getting kicked off. One the MacBook Pro right in front of my eyes while Google Chrome was closed, shut down. So I attempted to send those so they could be included in this video. However, Google has decided to block me from sending any videos greater than 25 megs in which I could supply, because there are examples where 12 to 15 session requests occurred in a row. This link here shows 4 or 5. So I'd like you to take a look. And you can see it with your own eyes. So we'll just, being unable to email me the content, and at the risk of them just taking it down, I'm going to show you. I just have a chess.com session open up in Firefox. And while that's going on, watch what happens. It's on the phone, so it's not, full size, but you see Google Chrome trying to connect. That IP address is known as V6 IP with all those characters, and those can get changed. In other countries, when they get their IP address, they get them leased for a 24-hour period. So like when we had all the hack requests out of Pakistan, those were all V6 IPs that all you can do is identify the country they came from. So in this case, you'll see repeatedly Google Chrome requesting these sessions on my laptop in succession. So there I am denying them as they're being requested. And I'm like, I'm grateful to have discovered tools, but they don't have the right to do that to anyone. No one should have to be learning all these network monitoring tools to protect themselves from someone who's been entrusted to come into our homes to provide content. If they can't be trusted, they need to be kicked to the curb. They need to be dismantled as a corporation, and their executives need to be imprisoned and fined to the maximum extent of the law.